When I was hired, one of the things, I was a young parent at the time, and I always thought about this D.A.R.E program. I hear so much about it. I never experienced it in school, Washington County. They didn't have it at the time when I came up through elementary and high school. And I looked at it as a great way to do a community service or outreach to the young people, because sooner or later they're going to be our future leaders. They're going to be in positions of being a business owner or a supervisor or something in that nature in the community where we would need their support and information sharing as far as crime fighting and those things go. And why did she feel like she had to steal something, Caitlin?
Because she wanted to be popular.
She wanted to be popular. Have you ever had something happen in your lives where you thought by doing something or going along with the crowd, they would like you, or this person will like you if you do something that maybe normally you wouldn't do? Have you ever had that? Yeah, you want to share?
He's very passionate about what he does with the kids. You know, it's he's also the school resource officer, so he's not just in teaching little kids there. He's up in the high school and junior high teaching as well. And my own sons were taught by him as well, and very informative what he does. He's very, like I say, he's very passionate about it.
Have any of you been in trouble before? Right? Did it make you feel very good when you got in trouble? Absolutely. And that's what we do. We learn from it and change our behaviors. There's that word resistance.
For the school, they love having Dave in there, because when Dave walks in, you know, the guy's what, 6'5", 6'6", and he walks amongst all the students. He stands out pretty well, and he has a command presence. And when he walks in, the kids pay attention to him. But like I say, he has a great sense of humor, so he gets along well with them, and the faculty alike.
I sat down with a former Sergeant Terry Douglas, who's no longer with us, but it might sound quirky or weird to you when I say that I asked him about, what about becoming a D.A.R.E officer, Terry? And he was like, well, you don't want to do that because it is a very strenuous 80-hour training schedule that you have to go through before you're certified. And I wasn't really a big public speaker at the time. So Terry thought, you know, just knowing me at the time, and I was kind of taken back by that, but I took it as a challenge. Okay, I'm going to prove Terry wrong. And so a few years later, opportunity presented itself. I jumped at it, and it's been great ever since. I've been doing it, the D.A.R.E program, for over 9 years, the school resource officer a little bit longer than that, but it's been great. And you could damage something. Memory loss. You're going to hurt your brain cells or destroy your brain cells with consuming alcohol.
He's always there for the kids, and and we go to school activities, I see little kids come up to him and hug him. They look at him a little funny when he's not in his uniform, but as soon as they know who it is, they give him high fives.
It's quite time consuming, but it's the joy of getting those hugs. And it doesn't matter if it's from a kid, snotty kid, but you know, they tell you during the training that you never know, because that kid may not be getting the hugs at home. And to see them, when I walk in a hallway at the school and they say, hey, Officer Ohlde, I feel like a rock star. And that's just wonderful, because I have that connection with them. And then when they see the other officers, they say, hey, where's Officer Ohlde, you know? And getting them to relate to law enforcement, not to be scared of us. If we have to show up in a time of need, they can at least feel at ease and be able to talk to us.
It's great with kids. You know, him and his wife have both fostered kids, and they've been emergency placement for children that we've had to take out of their homes. You know, they open their home, they open their hearts to everybody. You know, they're always willing to help. He's not somebody that's going to turn somebody down.
There's nights I'll interview a child, and that child's been abused physically, emotionally, or sexually, and it takes a lot out of you. You got that weight on your shoulders. You just want to go home. And when my kids were little, they couldn't understand why I would just pull them out of bed and give them hugs, but I was so grateful my kids were safe. You know, after coming from an interview like that, it's not an easy thing at all. I can't speak for any other officer, but for me personally, you got to have good moral ground. You got to have good faith, whatever you believe in, and a supportive spouse. and children as well, your family. If they're not there for you through it all, and because they get a brunt of it, you try not to take work home from you with you. It happens. It does. And and a lot of guys, marriages don't last, families separate, but if you got a good, strong family, that says enough for itself. You get through it.
He actually does the laundry because I hate doing laundry. So that is the brownie points right there. That, and he's dishes, you know, if I'm not home on time, he's got supper made. And then he's also the commander at the Legion now, and he's taken on bringing the Remembering Our Fallen in November, and then they're bringing the Vietnam Wall next year.
Currently, we do a 1-year stint as an elected office, and I've really enjoyed it. I've been the adjutant prior to that for the last, close to 4 years, and I really enjoyed it, getting involved. To me, it's just giving back. My 20-plus years when I was in the Kansas Guard and on active duty, I remember those veterans from the Korea and Vietnam War sitting there in the middle of the night at 3 o'clock in the morning when we were landing at a little airport in New Hampshire, either coming back from a deployment or heading out to a deployment. Those folks were there to cheer us on and support us and gave us things and hugs. And now that I'm retired, I want the next generation to feel the same way, to know that they're loved and supported, and we'll never forget them, what they do for our country, as well as making sure they're taken care of when they get back. You know, whether they're injured or benefits or what have you, we have to take care of our veterans, and I feel very passionate about that. And I like that this post, with its membership, that we can show that and as well as give back to the community.
If you leave your office open over a weekend, you never know what you're going to find in it when you get back.
Todd and I, we get along great. We do little pranks back and forth.
We had a tackling dummy that we use for training. It comes from the wrestling room at the high school. And I came into my office one day, and I even unlocked my door. He has a key to my office. And I turned around, there's this big old tackling dummy staring me right in the face, scared the crap out of me. And it made some rounds for about a week, different offices, but now it's gone. It has been taken back.
You know, you got to have that when you're in a stressful job to relieve stress. We do it to each other at work. And I can't speak enough about Todd. He's a great leader and mentor.
To be honest, if I had 10 of him, that'd be great, you know, but fortunately we just got the one Dave. But just not just one, it's every call he goes on that he's very professional and then handles himself accordingly. Always has.
I can be your friend, right? And I want you to come to me if you have any issues. Just like Mr. Wright, your teacher. He's there if you have any issues.
I can see him being a child's hero. There's no doubt in my mind.
I recommended Dave as a hero because he's had, honestly, officers have a lot of bad days. And I thought he needed to be honored a little bit and let people know that he's there and he does do good things.
I'm actually here because of our Local Heroes segment. You were nominated to be a local hero by your wife.
Okay.
So how do you feel about that?
Well, I'm flattered. I can't speak enough without her support. You know, you can't do things alone without your family behind you. And they've sacrificed so much. Going back to years of being in the Guard, being deployed, my kids gave up their birthdays to only maybe hear from me for a few minutes over a satellite phone over half the world away. And I told them that when I got ready to retire that I was going to try to be around a lot more. Well, they're a lot older now, they're off on their own, so I even talked to them a little bit less. But back to that question, you know, and my wife, when we got married, she gave up being a dispatcher in Washington County to move over here, and she's been giving up a lot, so I can't say enough, and I'm very proud of her, but I wouldn't be here today without their support.
One of these days, Dave is going to need to take a long vacation somewhere where people can't call him to do something for work, because I don't care if it's his day off or if he's even on vacation. If he's in town, somebody calls him, he comes down. No, he needs to take a nice long vacation somewhere.
Thank you, Dave, for everything you do. I know I don't say it enough, and I love you, and this town does appreciate you. And another thing is, I got you, Batman.